Hi, everyone, and good evening. I am so happy to be here today to talk to you about a great topic, a very popular topic that we've been receiving a lot of questions about. More specifically, I'm going to talk about the E-2 investor visa and what is the minimum amount that is required to invest in order to qualify for this visa. A lot of people are interested about the E-2 and they want to know, how much money do I need to qualify for this visa? So that's what I'm going to talk about today. And if you have any questions about this, I would love to answer them as we go. Questions about E-2 investor visa, or if you have any questions about other immigration matters, I'll also love to answer them as I go. So for those of you that don't know me, I am immigration attorney Yael Brudner. Our firm, Brudner Law, is located in Orange County, California, and we provide immigration services for clients from all over the US and all over the world, actually. So if you have an immigration matter, if you have any specific question for your case, I would love to talk to you further about it. Feel free to send me a message, call our office. We would definitely love to help you with your question. But today I want to talk about the E-2 investor visa and how much money do you need to qualify for it? It's one of the most frequently asked questions about the E-2 investor visa. So just really quick, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the E-2 investor visa is for those of you that don't know. It's a non-immigrant visa, so it's a temporary visa, but that you can keep renewing. In most situations, you can keep renewing your E-2 investor visa. And it allows for people to work and live in the US, again, possibly for an unlimited time. And this visa is for nationals of treaty countries. So people that are nationals of specific countries that entered a treaty or an agreement with the United States. And there's a lot of countries that qualify. There's over 60 countries that qualify for the E-2 investor visa. So really, it's a great opportunity. And what is this investor visa? How do you qualify for it? So you need to be, like I mentioned, a national of a treaty country, and you need to have invested a substantial amount of money in a business in the US. Now, this could be a new business, and a lot of people, that's what they do. They come here and they start a business and they invest in their own business, and that's how they qualify for the E-2. Okay, or it could be an existing business. You can also invest in a business that's already operating here in the US. Okay, so basically, you have to invest an amount of money in a business in the US to qualify. Now, how much do you need to invest? That's the million-dollar question. Well, the good news is that you don't need to invest $1 million. The investment amount could be significantly less than that. So the law doesn't mention a specific amount minimum that you need to invest in order to qualify. What the law says, or what the regulations say, is that you have to invest a substantial amount of capital. And how do you know what substantial is? Well, this is a case-by-case analysis. So the analysis of if your investment is substantial is a question of what is your business. Because for business A, a specific amount would be substantial, would be definitely enough. While at the same time, the same amount won't be enough for business B. And I love to give this example that if you're starting a warehouse, if you're going to be manufacturing a product here in the US, and you're going to need to hire a lot of people, and you need to hire space, and you need to get machines, and you're going to do this whole factory, that investing $50,000 probably won't be significant in such a big operation, in such a big business. However, if you're opening a law firm, or if you are doing consulting or coaching, providing services, marketing, things like that, $50,000 could be very significant for your business. So really, the question about how much money do I need to invest, the answer depends on what business you're thinking about. And when clients come to us and they tell me, I want to apply for the E-2 investor visa, I want to check if I'm eligible, we have a meeting, we have a consultation, a strategy session almost, and we look at the financials. How much capital do you have to invest? What is your business? What are you thinking on doing here? And then we can give a good assessment or a good evaluation from our experience if the amount of money that the investor has is enough. Okay, so it's hard to answer the question, how much money do I need? Usually, a lot of attorneys say you can't do the E-2 investor visa if you don't have $100,000. We've seen that this is not true in all cases. Of course, if you have a lot, if you have 100K, that's better than if you have 50K. But if you have 50K and the business is appropriate for that, like I mentioned, those gave some examples of businesses that would be appropriate for that, then you're good to go. Then you could qualify for the E-2 investor visa. So if you have any questions about the E-2, feel free to write them in the comments. You can also send me a direct message or call our office. We usually recommend to schedule a consultation with us, with a lawyer, and to really do a strategy session to see if you are a good fit for this visa. There are other requirements for the visa. So you also have to show that not only that you're investing a substantial amount of capital, that you also are investing in a business that's already operating or is ready to operate, any minute, like almost operational. And you have to show that you are putting your funds in risk. So, and these are all things that we explain in our consultation session, is that if you have 50,000 and if we have determined that 50,000 is enough for your type of business, now you are going to have to show that you've invested the 50,000, okay, that you put that money in risk. It's not enough to have it just in a bank account lying there. You also have to show, for example, that you're in a position to direct and manage the business, okay, so that you know that you know what you're doing. Okay, and that's all the stuff that we guide you and instruct you about when you come in and you talk to us about the E-2 investor visa. Another question that we get often about the E-2 investor is, can I change my status from whatever status I'm here in the US, visitor, student, H-1B, L-1, O-1, can I change from that status to an investor visa? And the answer to that is that yes, usually you can. If you are in status in the US and you want to change, then you can file to change your status here in the US. The only thing is that you have to be in status. You can't be out of status. So for example, if you came in as a visitor and your period of authorized stay has already elapsed, so you overstayed your authorized stay, you can't change your status anymore to E-2. You'd have to leave the country and apply from abroad. Okay, so you can apply to change your status here, and we help a lot of tourists that come in and decide that they want to do this, students that are on their OPT year, they are towards the end, they know they're looking for the next step. Perhaps they weren't selected in the H-1B lottery, and now the H-1B is going to be very difficult. They really raise the standards for that. So it is a really good option for students. Okay. Also for people that are on other non-immigrant visas, definitely can apply. Now, what's great about this visa is that you can also apply directly to the consulate. You don't have to go through immigration in the US if you're not here and you don't want to do that. So you can apply directly at the consulate and do everything from abroad. Okay, and we've helped clients do the whole process start to finish without them even coming to the US. They did everything from abroad, from their country. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the comments or send me a direct message. Let's see. There is a question on Facebook from Simran. Does the whole family get the investor visa? For example, if my father invests the money, then will my mom, brother, and I get the visa too? So that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. So the investor, if the investor gets this visa, then their spouse will get it, and their children under 21 will get it. Okay, the spouse will be eligible to work here in the U.S., which is a huge benefit for spouse, because there are categories, for example, a spouse of a student or spouse of H-1B that cannot work here, and they do not get work authorization. A spouse of an E-2 is eligible for work authorization, and they can work anywhere. They're not limited to any employment. They don't need to necessarily work at the E-2 business. So if you and your brother are under 21, then you can be included in your father's petition. I hope I answered that. That's really a great question. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions, if I'm missing anything. Nope, let me see. Just looking at the questions. I'm streaming also in TikTok, so I'm looking up for questions on TikTok. Okay, so there's a question about how long does it take when you file for your husband before the approval of their green card? So to answer, so I'm open to answering questions that are not necessarily pertaining to the E-2, just general questions as well, immigration questions. So how long after you get the approval will they get the green card itself? So if you can give me a little bit more information, is your husband here in the U.S. or are they abroad? Did they already get, attend the interview and now just waiting for the actual card? Sometimes it takes some time, okay? But if you are approved, you should get your green card soon. How long does it take to get a work permit after I apply for a green card? So if you applied to adjust your status, this is another question from TikTok. If you apply to adjust your status, you will most likely, like you said, applied also for a work permit. We're seeing those take 5 to 7 months right now. Might be a little bit more than that, but that's the average. Okay. Bushu is asking, he said he asked this on my other video. I'm sorry if I missed it, but I'm going to answer it now. So is getting a police ticket disqualifying you for getting citizenship? So, it depends what the police ticket is. If it's something like a DUI, then if it is in the last 5 years, I would recommend waiting, not filing with a DUI that happened in the last 5 years. It's a more conservative approach because it can go to, your good moral character, which is one of the requirements for naturalization. But if it's just a ticket, then most likely like a parking ticket or a speeding ticket, most likely, and it's just one, it won't affect your citizenship. So I hope I answered your question. I'm sorry that I missed it before. Okay, so there's a question here on TikTok about your fiance is waiting for asylum decision and I want to change his status after marriage. So if you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder and you want to get married, then he can file, and he's here in the U.S. and he came in with a visa. Even if he has an asylum pending, he can still file to adjust his status. So that doesn't prevent the fact that he has an asylum pending, and I'm assuming that this is not in court. The asylum is pending in, with USCIS. Then yes, you should be able to apply to adjust his status. And I love answering questions, immigration questions. I want everyone to know that this is general information. It's not legal advice. If you have a specific question for your case and you really want to see if you're eligible or not, I do recommend consulting with me or any other immigration attorney one-on-one so I can evaluate your case. So I'm trying to answer just in general. Let's see if I missed any questions here. Okay, so there's a question about my husband is abroad, but I'm a green card holder. So you were clarifying the question from before, that the green card was approved and your husband is abroad. So does that mean that he went to the interview abroad and he was approved for his visa? And so, yeah, I still need a little bit more information. Okay, and you can feel free to contact us. If you want us to look into your case, you can schedule a consultation with us and we would look up your case and see what's going on. There's a question about the E-2 and premium processing. So on TikTok, a question about, is there E-2, is there premium processing available for E-2? Yes, if you file to change your status here in the US. Okay, there is. Okay, there's a question from Ahmed asking on TikTok, what kind of questions are they asking during the 751 interview? That's a great question. So the 751 interview is an interview, it happens when you got your green card, but you were from marriage for you got married and then you got your green card, and your marriage was under 2 years at the time. So you only receive what's called a conditional green card. So you only get a green card that's valid for 2 years. Just before the 2 years, you have to file the 751, which is the removal of conditions. And it's almost like a double, marriage petition. You have to show that the marriage is real, and, you have to bring evidence that the relationship was real and, at the time that you got married and everything. So what kind of questions do they ask at the 751 interview? If you're called for an interview, most likely, and you're filing jointly with your spouse, most likely they would want to ask questions to, verify the relationship and see more documents about that the marriage was real and what's called bona fide marriage. Okay, but it really depends if you're filing jointly or you're filing based on divorce or other waivers on that. Okay, so let's see. I hope I answered that question about the 751. Let's see. There's a question from Raman on TikTok. I'm about to graduate with my master's from the US. Is my chance high to get approved for H-1B? So the H-1B has two things that you need to do. First of all, you need to win the lottery, the H-1B lottery, because there's more people that want to apply than there are H-1Bs available. So every year there is a registration period and there's a lottery. Last year was in February. It started. We don't know yet what's going to be this year, probably around the same time. And if you are selected, then they will check if your occupation is a specialty occupation and if you are deserving for the H-1B. Being a master's degree from the US does increase your chance because there are more visas allocated to people that graduated with a master's degree, definitely. So yeah, it does increase your chance to be selected. Okay. Okay, so thank you for clarifying on green card holder, but I want to file for my husband. He's abroad. How long to get it? Yeah, you can file. You're a green card holder. You can file for your husband. It's taking about 12 to 18 months right now if your husband is abroad. Okay. Okay, guys, I have to wrap it up for today, but please feel free to reach out to us. Our number is 714-794-9366. You can check out the link in my bio on TikTok for our website if you want to contact us directly to schedule a consultation and talk about your specific case. Okay, so in the meantime, everybody have a great evening and see you again really soon.